All right, guys, hello, and welcome to the Kelcast, your Hearthstone Arena podcast, where we try to get better without cursing. I'm Keludar, a longtime Infinite Arena leaderboard player and streamer on Twitch. Joining me as my co-host is another Arena leaderboard player, Kellenabel.
Hey, I'm Kellenabel.
All right, guys, if you want to find us on social media, search for Keludar on Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter. Kellen, what are we looking at this week?
This week on the inaugural episode of the Kelcast, we'll start with a heated card debate where the winner will be crowned president of the arena. No one has given us the authority to make this declaration, but when has that stopped anyone from saying whatever they want in a public setting? After the debate, we'll have an interview with the president and cover some of the most important topics in the current meta.
All right. And with that, we're on our way. Let's get into the show. With us today, we have Ratsmah, a longtime top arena player and streamer. He's here today as a candidate for president of the world of Hearthstone Arena. Ratsmah, can you tell us a little about yourself?
It sounded like you're about to say Arena Lord right there.
Maybe I was.
Yeah. That is correct. I'm just kidding, by the way. So my name is Ratsmah. I've been a Hearthstone Arena streamer for quite a long time now. It's been about 6 years. I was the first Hearthstone Arena streamer to be drafted to a professional team.
Wow.
Know that actually. Huh.
Yeah. I've messed with a lot of different strategies in Hearthstone. I'd like to say that I developed a lot of the strategies that exist today, and yeah, I love Arena.
All right, awesome. All right, and so his opponent is going to be Kellenabel.
That's me.
All right, so for our first card debate, the first cards we're gonna do Guidance versus Resizing Pouch. We're gonna give Ratsmah Guidance. It's a dual class Druid Shaman card, 1 mana spell. Look at 2 spells, add 1 to your hand, or overload 1 to get both. And then Kellenabel, we're gonna give you Resizing Pouch, another dual class card. It's a Druid Hunter combo, 1 mana spell. Discover a card with cost equal to your remaining mana crystals. All right, Ratsmah, go ahead.
So Discover is great. We all know Discover is great. Guidance is Discover. However, you only get to see 2 out of the 3. But here's the kicker. You get to choose both. So in games where you're falling behind and on board and you need a very clutch spell, it can be Discover. You'll have the choice to pick the correct spell to help you come back in that game. But also, in games where it's a very controlling match and it's going to go to attrition, you have the option to get 2 for 1, which is fantastic.
All right, Kellenabel, it sounds like he's on. Why don't you tell us about Resizing Pouch and why you think it's better?
Well, I like Resizing Pouch because it is a very flexible card that allows you to expend as much mana as you have available. So where a card like Guidance, for example, you don't have control over the total mana cost that you're able to get from the card. When you have Resizing Pouch, you have the exact amount of mana that ahead of time before you choose your card. So Resizing Pouch is best in the late game when you can choose between a 7, 8, or 9 mana minion or spell. At the lower end, it's not nearly as good because you're going to basically be paying a tax of 1 mana on whatever you choose, and that can really make the card worse. But I'm never going to say anything bad about Resizing Pouch. I probably should have said that even. Instead, I'm going to talk about the 7, 8, and 9s. When you go 7, 8, or 9, the card pool size is so small that you have a much higher chance of choosing the card you really directly want. So you might find a Silas at 7 or a Proto Drake at 8 or something like that. It's probably the second best Druid Hunter 1 mana spell next to Adorable Infestation. So I don't know if that says it's great, but I love it. I just want to discover 7, 8s, and 9s off of it all day.
All right, that's going to be a close call. Oh, go ahead, Ratsmah.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I'm allowed to respond.
You can. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's yeah, I agree. I completely agree with you. Resizing Pouch is completely unviable in the early game. Good point.
That's unfortunately true. I wish I was lying there.
All right,
can I retract that statement? Can I pull it back?
I guess.
Okay.
All right, for our second card, we're going to do 2 legendary cards up against each other. It's Warden Ivory and against Envoy Rustwix. So Warden Ivory is a dual class mage rogue legendary. It's 5 mana, 4/5 battlecry. Discover a dual class spell from any class. The spell burst is to get another copy. The second card we're doing is Envoy Rustwix, is a 5-mana 5/4 Warlock legendary minion. Death Rattle, shuffle 3 random prime legendary minions into your deck. So Ratsmah, we're going to give you the Ivory card, and we're going to give Rustwix to Kellenabel. So go ahead, Ratsmah.
Man, this card, Keyword and Ivory, is completely broken. You get pretty much all the broken effects in Hearthstone into all bundled into one card. You get card generation. You get a dual class effect or a dual class card, which are very good cards generally. And then you also get spell burst, which makes you generate another card. The card itself, being a 5-mana 4/5, is pretty well statted. I think it be worse as a 5/4, just because the stat line tends to do better in Arena, having a little bit more health. Um, but I mean, this card you're gonna outvalue your opponents. There's a lot of good dual class cards that are good in games where you're trying to stabilize. Cards like Brain Freeze or Coerce will definitely get you the tempo back. So there's not really much that this card can't do.
All right,
And
Kellen, what do you think?
I think if we're talking about absolutely busted cards, then clearly Keyword and Ivory is the winner. But here's what I'm thinking. I think when we're talking about absolute end game value, we need to think about the potential of the cards we're looking at. And Envoy Rustics has one of the highest potentials of any card you can cast in the arena. With the ability to generate 3 random prime legendary minions, you're looking at the possibility of casting an 8, was it a 10/10? A 10/10 warrior minion, a Lady Vash that gets you 3 spells from your deck, and on top of that, Solarian to summon who knows how many spells and card draw effects. So while Keyword and Ivory might be better in basically every situation you can possibly think of, the upside and possibilities with Envoy Rustics are where I think we should really place our minds and think about what we could get.
Okay. Well, okay, we're gonna move on to our third set of cards here. This one's a little bit. These cards are a little bit lower in power level, but interesting. We're gonna do Crabrider versus Death Warden. So Crabrider is a 2-mana 1/4 neutral Murloc minion with Rush and Wind Fury, and Death Warden is a 3-mana 2/5 neutral Epic minion. Death Rattles cannot trigger while it's on the board. So Ratsmah, I'm gonna give you Crabrider. Go ahead.
uh, So Crabrider, there's a lot of Murloc effects and tribal effects in the game right now. A lot of them are pickable as well. I think with Crabrider being a Murloc, you get a small buff, a +1/+1, and that Wind Fury effect makes that +1/+1 go much further than it would for any other non Wind Fury card. Um, the it all is also worth saying that it's okay just with the Rush Wind Fury 1/4 stat line as a 2-drop. Um, it's just a great card. But any buff, it and Shaman especially is amazing. You get the buffs, you get a lot of burst damage out of it as well. It's just fantastic. And
All right,
Well,
Kellen.
Death Warden, I had a deck yesterday that played Death Warden. I ended up canceling my own Death Rattle, so that card's terrible. Yeah, go ahead.
Nice.
oh, okay.
I like that tactic. That was good.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
good.
yeah. I see how this is going. Okay. So Death Warden, I have been absolutely loving Death Warden, actually. It's a 3-mana 2/5, so the stat line on its own is a solid, respectable stat line. Um, what I really like about it, though, is all these minions from the last couple sets that Death Rattle to add a card to your hand, you're reducing that card or you're just removing that extra card. So I've often cast Death Warden when my opponent has either value traded with a 4/3 Rush Murloc that has Death Rattle, put another one in your hand, or when my opponent has a Smug Senior or Sneaky Delinquent in play. So these cards where the card itself is not a powerful effect on its own, like a 6-mana 5/7 taunt in Smug Senior, not really loving that card unless it has the Death Rattle. But when I have a Death Warden ready to go, now I can negate all of the card advantage my opponent is getting from their best cards in Smug Senior, Plagued Protodrake, uh, Sneaky Delinquent. Let me think of some others. Mm, There's a lot. Hold on, just give me a second. I got some more. Some other Death Rattles I like canceling. How about Tyrion Forging? That's a good one. comes up all the time too. Just every draft pretty much. You got to be ready for that kind of thing. Death Warden is honestly and legitimately a fantastic 3 mana 2/5 with the ability to stop your opponent from generating cards. And as my opponent has mentioned, generating cards is a very powerful effect in attrition matchups. So Death Warden being able to stop your opponent from generating those cards allows you to pull ahead in both the late game and early game with its 3 mana 2/5 body.
Nice move. Using my words against me. How
Mm,
dare you?
I learned from the best. You did that to me on the last one.
I like it. You guys are starting to get a little cutthroat. It's like you're fighting for it. So, all right, next one, last card. So put all you got into this one, guys. We got two insanely amazing cards. It's Barricade versus Rally. All right, so Barricade is a 4 mana dual class Paladin and Warrior spell. Summon a 2/4 guard with taunt. If it's your only minion, you get to summon another one. And then the other one's Rally. It's a 4 mana dual class spell, Paladin and Priest. Resurrect a friendly 1, 2, and 3 cost minion. All right, Ratsmah, we'll let you go. What do we think about Barricade?
So Barricade. Let's talk about the cards that the classes that the dual class is for. So it's for Paladin and Warrior. Both classes are weapon classes. They don't have much flexibility on dealing spot damage on the board. It's hard to deal 1 or 2 damage to help finish off a minion with weapons. And once you lose board control, it's very hard to get it back. You can't ping things off the board. Your opponent makes favorable trades, and they just have a bunch of low health things on the board, and their AOE is quite weak. This is where Barricade comes into play. You have an empty board. You lost complete board control. All of a sudden, you get 4/6 worth of stats on the board.
Oh, it's actually even 4/8. It's even bigger.
4/8. Oh, thank
Wait,
you.
wait,
Thank
sorry,
you.
sorry,
It
sorry.
is great. But yeah, it's two separate instances of 2 damage. It'll help you in those in Warrior and Paladin to finish things off with weapons. It's just fantastic. Um, with Rally, I think that it is completely unreliable. There's a lot of RNG effects. You can't, especially in Arena, make your deck make that card work. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
Oh
man,
man.
setting you up for a nice start there, Kellen. Go ahead.
Okay. So I actually think Rally has some really strong uses, specifically in Paladin. It is a Paladin priest spell. It really feels like a Paladin card that steals the Resurrect from the priest class identity. But in a Paladin deck, you're planning on curving out and then ending the game with your large spells or minions. So with your 8/8 Divine Shield taunts that heal for 8, with your 5 mana 8/8 Divine Shield taunts. Divine Shield and taunt seems like a pretty popular thing there. But you need something to start the early game. And Rally is a card that lets you take advantage of that early game start that you create. So if you are just playing a 1-drop and then a 2-drop and then a 3-drop, and then your turn 4 is going to be Rally, my God, you are going to have a fantastic turn 5, 6 on your way up to your huge cards. Uh, Now, there is a small downside in that in both Paladin and Priest, I think Rally is most likely to summon a 1 mana token and either a 2 or 3, depending on which one you played. In Paladin, it's probably going to summon a token and a 3-drop. In Priest, or hopefully a 1-drop, um, or a 2-drop. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Hold on. Priest, there we go. In Priest, it's probably going to summon like an Og Merchant and an Overconfident Orc and skip the 2. But even when it just summons 2 minions, you're still getting 4 mana worth of value. Those 2 mana cards are typically at least worth 2 mana, possibly more. And it's often the 3 mana minions that you would return, like Overconfident Orc or 4/5 Corrupted Scarecrow, the statue, excuse me. Those cards are above their actual mana cost. So you're in a priest deck or a paladin deck, you're able to get up to 6 or 7 mana worth of cards with a single 4 mana spell. Is it incredibly hard to make that happen? Absolutely. Is it unlikely that you will ever return 3 things on the timely basis and that they will also be the 3 that you wanted? It's Of course it's insanely unlikely. You'll never get what you want. But once in a while, again, I'm always on this upside train. Got to find the upside, and the potential for rally is 7 mana, 8 mana worth of stats for a simple 4. And I think nothing can compare to that.
Hmm. Any more last thoughts, guys, on any of the cards? Are you guys good?
No,
Final answers?
I think it summed up well. it is insanely impossible. Yeah, I agree.
Oh man. Uh, I think, like, dang it, I don't have a. It really is hard, man. Okay, I guess I
Well,
just I'm done.
all right. Let me just make it very clear to the listeners out there that we did not give Ratsmah the cards that were guaranteed to win because we did not want to do an exclusive interview with him. So I'm just saying, it's not rigged at all, I swear. So we're gonna let the panel decide. Wow, shocker! Ratsmah wins. He's the president of Arena. He's the champion. How's it feel, Ratsmah?
Wow, it's fantastic. It's such a great honor. I'm so glad to one have been nominated, but two also have been elected and won. Thank you guys so much. I'd like to thank my mother, my yes boys,
Oh, the yes
and
boys.
yeah, and my opponent for just falling over so easily. Thank you so much, Kellenabel.
Nice.
Hey, okay, actually, I have a quick question on the S Boys because I have heard that you were way ahead, and we're gonna get to the interview in a second, but I
Sure.
just wanted to propose this one thing really quick. I heard you were way ahead on Twitch in terms of the betting on results. Are you the person who started that?
I think so. So
Ooh.
I think in Hearthstone, I could say that I was, but the function was available on Moobot, on some of the like Twitch chatbots. But the whole yes boys, no boys thing, I definitely was making bets on my runs before it became like a massive thing on Twitch.
Okay,
I
Okay.
would
now.
like to say that it came from my channel. Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing. I knew it came from somewhere and I thought I'd seen it on yours. I remember betting. I think I actually bet way many years ago, but okay, as your failed opponent, I'm going to step out and allow Kel to take over for a quick interview.
All right. So first of all, we just want to say welcome back, Ratsmah. It's been, to be honest with you, we've lost a lot of players over the years, and it's really honestly great to have somebody at your caliber back because, frankly, we just lost a lot of streamers and everything. So it's great. So I think I want to start by asking you what you've just been up to since you've been gone. It's been about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, and what brought you back.
Yeah, it's been almost 2 years. And so what I've been up to, I actually started two different businesses within that time frame. The first one was an influencer marketing agency that focused on Korean content creators and connecting them to non-domestic international brands. Um, that and also one of my friends started a shoe store, an online shoe store, and uh, what we ended up doing was me, him, and a couple other partners came together and we started an e-commerce business. So we actually have a shoe store and another apparel brand as well. And that is pretty much what I've been doing. Now I'm full time working for the e-commerce store, and yeah, and I'm streaming for fun on the side. Uh, what brought me back is I was actually watching some Shady Bunny, and you know, I was watching his stream, and he was playing Arena, and he. This is very uncharacteristic of Shady Bunny. He didn't really know what the cards were doing. He was very confused, and apparently, it was his first run in a very long time. I didn't know that he had quit as well.
Okay.
Um, and so I was starting to look at the state of Arena, and it looked like Hafu was gone, Crip wasn't playing Arena anymore. Just a bunch of streamers had abandoned Arena completely, myself included. And I don't want that to happen. I really truly love Hearthstone Arena. I think it's the best game mode. It's what got me into Hearthstone in the first place. Watching Trump during closed beta play Hearthstone Arena runs, I absolutely love it, and I think that without representation on Twitch, on influencers playing the game, like it's going to slowly die, and I really can't have that happen. So I'm here to try to put more content out there, make sure that people know that Hearthstone Arena is loved, make sure the devs know it, and yeah, just I just want to bring more fun and show people that Arena is great and it can be great again.
Wow, that's great. Honestly, I didn't know all that stuff about the business. I knew about some of the fitness stuff you'd been doing, but that's awesome. So going back to the arena a little bit, What do you think about the current state of Arena in general? Like, I know that maybe when you left, I think there might have been buckets when you left. I'm not remembering the time frame exactly, but
Yeah.
there might have been a little bit difference in the drafting and everything, because I know there also isn't an offering bonus anymore. But what do you think of Arena right now, and like, what do you think about the meta?
So yeah, it was buckets when I had left, and I absolutely hated the bucket system. I just the fact that you could there was a certain bucket and you could tier cards within that bucket and be like, hey, this is the right pick when this bucket appears is just it feels so wrong for me, especially when I mean the effects of that um, you end up not being able to pick a lot of the cards that are at the bottom of said bucket. You know, if
Yep.
like, it doesn't mean that card's bad, but in that bucket, it's bad. So what happens is in game, every single game feels the same because everyone's picking the best cards in each bucket. Everyone has the same exact cards. It just made Arena so stale. Right now, I am so happy that the bucket system is gone. I think Arena's already fantastic again. You see a lot more variety in cards. I love seeing when my opponent plays like really old cards, even like Corehound. Like it's hilarious to me just thinking like how he got to that point of having to pick Corehound, and to him that and to it could be the right pick. It probably was the right pick at the time, and I think that's what makes Arena great is you have to work with what you're given, and you get to experience a lot more of the game, probably more than constructed players do because they're never going to play Core Hound for sure.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you, especially on the variety. Buckets caused the downside of buckets to me was just that it caused all the decks to be the same and just basically took away the variety, which, at least for me, I think that variety makes Arena great. There was a lot of players. I think I even talked about this with you offline that, some people really do enjoy. Um, they enjoy knowing what's coming and being able to play around it, but like just go play constructed then if that's what you want to do. That's kind of how I feel about it. So I think I agree with you on pretty much everything you said. Um, what's your favorite class currently, and what's been working for you with that class?
Ooh. So those are actually two different classes. So like what's been
That's
working for
okay.
me and what my favorite class is completely different. But favorite class, honestly, so many of them are so fun right now. Generally, I would almost never play Paladin just because I think it's so boring and you have like no control over the game. You're kind of just
Mhm.
throwing minions out. You're just throwing things out, and it's not a very fun playstyle for me. But at the moment, I think Paladin is kind of overtuned to the point where you do have quite a bit of control over the game just with how powerful your cards are. Um, Favorite class though, I would have to say Priest. Priest is always my favorite. There are
Oh
plenty of
God,
metas
why?
where
No, Ratsmah, no. Just,
join the light side.
I know.
It's there are a lot of metas where Priest is not viable. I think it's a hit or miss type of class. But last expansion it was viable. This expansion is still very strong, and it's I just love toying with my opponents because I'm a sick freak. I like toying with my opponents and getting them to fatigue and just hey, look at me, like I'm at 30 health still, and I have complete board control. And yeah, but Demon Hunter has been pretty good for me. I think I've been drafting a lot of decks, just honestly spamming like ones and twos, like not even picking big cards, even if they're really good, and getting the great card draw cards in Demon Hunter, and it seems very powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as a little side note, next week chat we will be definitely talking about our classes next week. So that's just a little tie-in. So we'll be talking a lot more about that coming up. So this is actually a question I really like. So I know you haven't played Arena for like, 2 years. So obviously you missed some expansions and you may not know the cards quite as well as you did at one time. Is there like one or two cards that you can remember where like they were played against you and maybe you didn't actually know what they were and you were just like you just double take because they were so powered, like the power creep was so intense. Is there any cards you can think of like that?
Oh, there's definitely a lot. My first time getting hit by Silas,
Oh,
that was fantastic. And it didn't end there, obviously. Like I'm not gonna
yeah, yeah.
not gonna focus on playing around Silas every single game. I'm not gonna worry about that. Uh, it's pretty rage inducing though. Uh, Tidal wave, when I got hit by my first tidal wave, I think I was playing a pretty aggressive deck. I was all in. I was like, you know what, like he's really low. Like I'm gonna add a lot of draws for damage. Like let's just hit him in the face. He tidal wave got from like 3 health to like 27 or 30. And it was just so devastating. And now that's my favorite card because I want to do that to other people.
Oh, see, but
Awesome.
you basically found the most priest-like card in Shaman and and decided
Yeah.
that's your favorite.
I like to debate people, I think. I like, oh, you almost got me. Come keep chasing, you know?
I don't know if he knows about this card, but I don't know if it was during his playing time or not. But there's Walking Fountain, which almost did the same thing. Do you know that card?
No.
So it's a shaman card. It's a 7-mana 4/8 rush Wind Fury with lifesteal.
Wow.
That card was infuriating.
I think I would love that.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
I think I'm getting a good feeling of like the type of player Ratsmah is. This is good. This is good stuff. I'm doing this interview is going well. I like this. All right. Next question. What I almost hate asking this question to some degree because I almost feel like Blizzard's never going to do anything else. But maybe your voice, your level of being able to promote things, maybe you can get us there. What improvements do you think could be made to Arena in terms of drafting? I know there's rotations now every 2 months. They brought those back. Like, what are things that you would like to see to make improvements?
Um, I don't think that Blizzard should change the core game. I think that I appreciate the effort with the bucket system. I just don't think that it's a very easy thing to do. But more content is all we need for Arena. Events like the dual class event that we had some Halloweens ago. I don't know if you guys remember the one where you could pick.
Yep.
You'd pick warrior and you'd be able to pick, warrior and
So,
plus one class.
actually, Ratsmah, they've made that an annual event. So every Halloween, that's now
Oh,
in line. It's my
So
favorite part of the year.
yeah, not to
oh,
get
okay.
too off track, but I can tell you that when they did the buckets, that during that era, they started to make it was showing that they were making Arena a priority to improve. During that time, they actually did an event every 3 months. So they had made Arena standard at that point. So during about winter time, they did a wild Arena event. So a month where they brought back all the wild cards. Then they did another thing, which I really enjoyed, which is they made Arena only cards. They did like a Taverns of Time event where basically they put in their own cards for like a couple weeks. Some of them were just nutty, but it was honestly fun, even though it was all over the place. But they have kept dual class around. But I really think that with where we're at, I agree that if we just would bring back the events every couple of months, like they did through a year, and it was enough. It was just enough where you could kind of look forward to them coming and know, like, if the meta was starting to get stale, you're like, well, I know that like this is coming soon, so it's okay. But just that's just a little side note. But yeah, it's good. I think events would really help. So
Yeah, and maybe a throwback to classic Arena, maybe just for like a couple days. Man, I would
okay.
love to play classic.
I want to
Arena.
interject my own thing that I've been talking about. I'm curious. We'll go back to the interview in a second, but I'm just curious what you guys think of this. I've been thinking about basically doing like a progression server like they do with MMOs, where like they basically go through the metas. Like it was, I don't know if we'd have enough interest, but do you think that would be fun? It's kind of what you're saying with classic, but they would like bring in the next expansion, you know what I mean? And then do that meta again.
I think they could do that like once every month. They try the next expansion or something like that, where they just go they do their normal standard Arena like we're dealing with day to day. But then, like you were saying, these events that pop in, and it can be an older format that we haven't played in a while. They can add a set from something like that. So yeah, I absolutely love that idea.
Yeah. Just maybe even just for a couple days each month, right?
Like a weekend.
Yeah, I would love it. Just the amount of nostalgia I would have for just old metas. Yeah, great.
I mean, they technically could even do it through the Tavern Brawl, maybe. I don't know if that's even like in terms of like coding, if that's possible. That's another way they could do it. All right, so moving on. We know that you made fitness like a big part of your lifestyle. Like I know you've been doing some streams. That's actually how I found you again. And then I saw people like egging you on during your fitness to get back into Arena. I remember a couple times. So I guess my question is like, you can talk about it a little bit too, but like, what advice would you give to someone trying to like? I know there's a lot of people on Twitch that maybe they're overweight or they want to do stuff, and like a lot of people are trying different diets and stuff. I'm just curious if you have any advice to getting started on something like that.
Um, I think it could be a lot of it can be very difficult to begin. And that's what fitness is. Like if you start training, then it's no problem to go every day. You just gotta walk, right? You just gotta walk there. You just gotta
Mhm.
drive there. You just gotta move. But the decision to begin is very difficult for a lot of people. I think some of it may come down to nerves about, what if I don't know what to do? What am I doing at the gym? Um, getting a coach or a fitness trainer is probably one of the best places you can spend your money. Um, it you you're kind of learning a skill as well. You're learning a
Mhm.
skill. You're getting a lot of information. You're and you I mean you get another connection too. I'm really good friends with my trainer as well. And I love going to the gym. I see him every day. It's awesome. Um, I feel like Kellenabel would probably know a lot more
See,
about this. Your
you know,
trainer.
it's funny that you mentioned it.
Coach
You
Kellen, what do
talked
you
about it
think?
that way. Yeah, Coach Kellen. I am a fitness trainer, but it's for kids doing gymnastics, so a little different. But the way you talked about that made it sound like you approach fitness kind of the way you approach games, where you treat it as a new skill, something you needed to learn, and so instead of just trying it, you found the right way to do it. You went through a strat and you developed a strategy to approach learning how to be involved in fitness. I think that's a great way to do it, and I think that's a really relatable way for a lot of people who play games. If you can view it as small little side quests or even like a daily quest that you're accomplishing, you can kind of break it up into smaller pieces, and it makes it easier to digest.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think using that analogy, I mean, if we're all characters of our own life, right? We're our main, and you have the secondary. So you better level up your main. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. I feel good when I play games. Even when I play Hearthstone, I feel much less tilted, just because I'm more relaxed. My body's relaxed. My muscles are relaxed. And I get a lot of free time. I get a lot of time between sets at the gym to think about work, think about um,
Mhm.
what I'm doing with my life, think about streams, what I should do, it's valuable. It's
Yeah.
extremely valuable. It's like
I mean,
meditation almost.
I can tell
Yeah.
you that, like, over the last, I think since I started, I think it's the first time ever in my life I lost 15 pounds over the holidays. So, I definitely have been on my own journey recently. And a lot of the things you're saying is kind of hitting home because, like, not that I've really ever had a major regression, but it's like, it's the mental part of it that's really important more than anything else. Because, like, if you make the decision to mentally do it, like, even if you have a little bit of a sidestep where you don't feel like oh, I forgot to I didn't go run today, it's like you don't just get buried by that, you just keep going, you know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah,
um
definitely.
because it's been a struggle for me, but I mean, it's definitely been the best thing I've done recently because I feel like my mental level is better. I feel like my mood is better. Like, I don't everything, and it helps. It helps gaming. I remember Shady, who's also into fitness a lot, talk about how it's affected him in his gaming, and I think it's interesting to relate how you treat yourself, like how it affects your gameplay too. You know what I mean? So pretty
Yeah,
interesting topics. Um, all right,
you
so
just got to do it. Yeah.
you just got to do it. Last question I'm going to ask you, and I know you told me before there's nothing, but there's got to be something. Just tell me one thing outside of arena that people might not know that you do that as a hobby, or something, or even just something you do. It doesn't have to be a hobby. Anything.
Um, One thing that I do. I like to like nostalgia overload. Um,
Okay.
and by that I mean I would watch a lot of like old shows or do a lot of old things I used to do when I was younger. Like I've rewatched The Office maybe like 20 times. If you say a quote from The Office, I know exactly who said it and like what the episode is, and I recognize it. Same thing with like Lord of the Rings, or maybe I'll go back to like an old game I used to play. Like, let's play some CS or some Maple Story or something. Um, I'm definitely not someone who like jumps onto new fads, or like new games or like hot like new releases. It's definitely in my like all these things I used to do as a kid are definitely still with me, and I love revisiting them.
All right.
That's really relatable right now. I think a lot of people are going through that experience over the last year, being spending so much time inside. They have, it's a good opportunity to revisit the past and in a pleasant way.
Yeah, I think that's actually happened to me even with my family. I've noticed that like I'm really maybe it's the age I am in my but I think like COVID and everything has made me really appreciate like I see my mom and I see my old house and like I don't know, I think about memories and stuff and it just really seems like it hits me more than it used to. And I think everything that's been going on the last year and a half has really kind of affected that. Um all right. So that's going to do it for our interview. I appreciate Ratsmah for being willing to like go through with it with our first one on the first show. So I'm just going to give you the floor, Ratsmah. I just wanted to let you, be able to promote yourself if you want to talk about anything you're doing on Instagram, videos, or whatever. You can just tell people where to find you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you search Ratsmah on Instagram or YouTube or Twitch, you can find me. I really do want to leave this interview with this. I think that we should all really nurture Arena, and you know, I want, even if I am not trying to play every day, I would like to be able to like log in and queue up for the arena and have other opponents to play. I don't ever want it to be a point where it's like, oh, arena is a dead mode, or have Blizzard remove it. That would make me so sad. I'd feel so devastated, especially with my, my addiction to nostalgia. Right,
Mhm.
arena was a huge part of my life, and yeah, let's all give it a little bit more love, enjoy it, and yeah, don't forget about it.
All right, guys. I think that's some really wise words from Ratsmah. Let's keep Arena going and make it great again, right? So that's going to do it for the first ever episode of the Calcast. Um, Make sure you can join us live every week at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on Twitch right here, or you can download the pod wherever you get your podcast every Monday. They'll go up. You can also find me on Twitch where I stream daily at 7 a.m. Eastern, or you can find me on YouTube and Twitter by searching Keludar, Keludar. Make sure to tune in next week where we'll discuss the top 5 arena classes and why they're so effective. Thanks to Ratsmah for appearing on our first show and sharing his thoughts. Also, we want to make a shout out to John Laux for doing the music we got for the start and end of the episode. You can also find all the links to our contributors in the show notes below, wherever you are watching or listening to this. So this has been the Calcast. See you next week.
Okay, Keludar,
What's up?
I have to get something the frick off my chest. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I am tired of not being able to draft class cards anymore. I
Okay.
just want to draft my class cards. I want to stop getting all my class cards off Steward of Scrolls and Onyx Mage Scribes, and I technically Want Thief as a class card, but it's a dual class card, so it doesn't count. I just want to draft class cards. How can I just like choose them? I never get to pick Hex. I always have to discover Hex or get it off like a freaking Instructor Fireheart or something else. I don't get to pick my class cards unless they're like a legendary minion, which is cool and everything, but I just want to draft them. I don't want to have to pick them off a Discover. That's it. I'm done.
Oh, he literally hung up. Literally, he's done. Okay. Oh my god. Well, that's the end of the first Kelcast officially. This is Keludar, your host. Over and out.